Sometimes. International relations don't collapse with the blast of missiles. They don't crumble under official sanctions. Sometimes. A global alliance falls apart quietly. A handshake that never happens. A diplomatic meeting that ends in cold silence. A single sentence that changes the course of history. And tonight, we're going deep into one of those moments. This is the story of a clash between two powerful men, both unwilling to bend. One is Donald J. Trump, the deal maker, the disruptor, the man whose Trump foreign policy shook capitals across the globe. The other, Dr. S. Jaishankar, India's external affairs minister, the architect of a bold new India foreign policy 2025 that refuses to bow to pressure. Trump didn't blame a nation, he blamed a man. In his own words, one Indian official destroyed the U.S.-India relationship. So who is this man? What happened in those high-stakes U.S.-India trade talks? And why did a single no from India ignite one of the most intriguing chapters in modern global diplomacy? Stay with me, because once you know the full story, you'll never look at India-U.S. relations the same way again. Not long ago, India was politely labeled a developing country, code for not a threat. Crowded streets, poverty, political gridlock, that's what they saw. What they missed was hunger. Hunger for India economic growth. Hunger to lead the global economy. Today, according to the IMF and World Bank, India is the fastest growing major economy in the world. Its GDP growth is surpassing Germany, Japan, even the US. While others face recessions, India's economy is booming. No. Over 70,000 startups have launched since 2016, making India the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. It's a startup boom that's reshaping India's economic rise. During COVID-19, India didn't crumble. It became a pharmaceutical superpower, exporting vaccines to over 70 countries. When inflation rocked the West, India stabilized fuel prices through strategic energy partnerships. It signed trade deals with the UK, UAE, Australia, and began negotiations for preferential access in the EU. This is no longer the India of cheap labor. This is the India of billion-dollar valuations, green energy revolutions, and digital payment dominance. And the West knows, when 1.4 billion people start winning, there's no going back. In the world of geopolitics today, sometimes a single meeting shifts the balance of power. That's exactly what happened when Dr. Jaishankar sat across from Donald Trump. Trump thrives on loyalty, admiration, and control. He's used to walking into a room and owning it, heads nodding, people adjusting to his tempo. But not this time. Jaishankar, quiet, precise, strategic, wasn't there to flatter egos. He was there to defend India's strategic autonomy. Behind closed doors, Trump's team wanted concessions on tariffs, flexibility on technology transfers, adjustments in defense procurement deals. India's answer? Calm, clear, unapologetic. No. Not a rejection of partnership, a rejection of pressure. This wasn't just Trump-India conflict over policy. Trump didn't feel brushed off by India as a country. He felt rejected by a person. And when Donald Trump feels personally rejected, he doesn't forget. For decades, India had been the polite partner. But Jaishankar diplomacy is different. It doesn't ask, it asserts, it doesn't please. It positions. Trump saw it as defiance. India saw it as sovereignty. From that moment, something shifted. Trade talks slowed. Defense deals stalled. Public smiles. Private frost. Trump would later tell the world, it wasn't India that failed America. It was one Indian. And in that statement, he revealed a deeper truth. Global politics isn't just about deals and contracts. It's about people. It's about ego. It's about respect. The tensions deepened. The U.S. withdrew India's GSP trade benefits. America First collided with India's self-reliance policy, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Washington wanted greater market access. India replied, not at the cost of our independence. India purchased the Russian S-400 missile system. The U.S. threatened sanctions. India stood firm. Then came Ukraine. The West wanted condemnation of Russia. India stayed neutral. A masterclass in India's strategic autonomy. This was never about weapons or tariffs alone. It was ego versus principle. Trump, powered by dominance and loyalty. Jaishankar, powered by clarity and precision. One wanted a quick win. The other demanded mutual respect. And sometimes, dignity looks like defiance. This wasn't a small diplomatic disagreement. This was a turning point for India Foreign Policy 2025 and beyond. India is no longer waiting to be invited to the table. It's building the table. Jaishankar's no wasn't a loud fight. It was quiet, firm, and unforgettable. Because the loudest force in the room isn't the one that yells, it's the one that refuses to blink. This isn't just a lesson for politicians. It says for anyone who has ever walked into a room where people expected you to shrink. Your power isn't in how loudly you speak. It's in how deeply you stand. That's the core of Jaishankar diplomacy, and it's reshaping how the world sees India's global influence. Jaishankar today is more than a foreign minister. He's the embodiment of an India that's finished being talked down to. An India that defends its economic growth, its defense deals, its sovereignty, without apology. This wasn't the collapse of an alliance. It was the birth of a new kind of partnership, one where India enters as an equal, because history won't remember the fine print of the U.S.-India trade talks. It will remember the day Donald Trump met the India that refused to bow. And if you think this was the last time the world will see that India, stay tuned. The next chapter of India-U.S. relations is already being written.